companies, recently they've seen an upswing in attrition rate. How does high attrition rate affect a company's growth as per you? And how does it impact the individual who's always on the move?
Yeah. So there are two things, right? One is that if there's a very high degree of attrition, it creates a massive instability in the company itself. And it, first of all, affects the quality of your services to your clients. And that's the thing that I care the most about. Clients will start noticing it when the project quality suffers, when the timelines start shifting, and they will start getting nervous, right? No matter whether it's a project where the client has the visibility on the team size or team mix or not, the client will, at the end of the day, come to know that something is amiss over here. And often, if that is because of, and it is often because of attrition. And I feel that that's the first most important area which hurts us. And then it causes team instability, because people who have left also kind of indirectly leave kind of a message for the people who are continuing to work in the company, saying, hey, maybe there's something better outside, or maybe you should also look for, it's kind of a negative cycle of negative spiral or something like that, right? And you have to be very concerned about it. 10-20 years back, when something like this would happen, we'd double down on the people who were staying back in our company rather than pay any attention to the people who left our company. Right. I think in today's world, where the talent is on a continuous shortage, right? So we have to be very mindful of that, why the people are moving out and how they're moving out, and what is it that we can do to retain them even after they have served their resignation notes or emails to us. So I think we are doing a lot of proactive engagement with our team members, so that it doesn't come to a situation where they're putting in a resignation note. It's not necessary that they're looking for a job. It's often they are hunted by other companies because there's so much shortage otherwise. Now, if I were to switch into onto the side of the team member who's leaving us, right? If that person has got a job offer which is twice the current salary, then he or she's probably taking a decision which is good for his or her family. So he's likely to get a double the salary than what he's getting currently, and he or she's getting. And what is wrong with jumping and making the most out of that scenario, given that there is a shortage of good talent, and the other company is valuing that person's talent at that level. I have often had this conversation with the teams, that is that sustainable in the first place, which is inflation of a certain skill set at that rate of almost 100%. So I think all our business models are built on certain economic models. Okay, and it assumes that the labor will be at a certain price point, and therefore there is some kind of a value that we create in the process, and we deliver that to our customers. If our customers are also experiencing same inflation here as we are experiencing in India, and if our model supports that, paying that inflationary wage, then there is no problem. I think then, because everybody is collectively experiencing the same inflationary pressure. Now, of course, there are macroeconomic trends that will hurt all of us collectively in any case. And if you see last 2 to 3 months, there is massive cutback right now. People are pulling back on the investment, and the people who are being told to leave the company are the people who were paid that double the salary, so to say, because suddenly that salary is now not sustainable, which was sustainable about 6 months back. I'm not trying to say that people should not do what they have to do for their families. They should consider that. But I think, there is always this upswing and there's a downswing. And, as long as you're in that, you should understand the value of your skill set, and then, the price point for that and what is fair price for that. And then, play the career move accordingly. So I've always been wary about somebody making an offer to me, which is suddenly very out of the blue. Then I always go back and think, is it sustainable or not? Right. And I've always taken my compensation in two kinds. One is cash, that I get cash plus options or whatever.
Right.
And the second is kind, which is that, is what I'm doing right now. If I continue for another 2-3 years in kind, will I get something which will make me a lot more, solid for my future career and, happiness and, all that kind of stuff. Because at some point in time, after you start making some money, that other factor starts playing more important role. How much independence I have in the job, how much freedom I have to take my decisions, what kind of career options I'm likely to get. All those things start playing a lot. So I think I've always thought about all those other factors also.
Right. Right. So now we'll move on to the next section, which will talk about magic and how the magic actually happened. So you are currently associated with Magic as a CEO. So how did magic happen? I mean, if we go back to 2014, how did it happen?
Sure.
And how was it for you as an experience?
So, Arjun, Sandeep and I, the six of us, we've been together since 85. We've set up this company, private equity fund called Solmark, Solmark, which is it's an interesting brand name, Mark of Sun. So Solmark, and that was our idea was that we'd pool our own money rather than manage somebody else's money.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like a family office, let's put it that way. Bring it together and then go out and see what kind of interesting investment opportunities are there that we can play into, and take it from there. Now, remember, for most of our careers, not most, all of our career years, we've been ourselves operators of business. So, we always operated our own business, with the exception of Arjun, our chairman, who also has been an investor also. But I think our idea was that, we've been operating the companies for a very long time. Now, can we, in our next phase of career, can we invest and operate? We still did not want to become financiers. We still did not want to become full-time operators. We just said, we'll invest and operate. So we'll put a little bit of our own skin in the game by putting our money and then run those companies and grow those companies. So I think that was the idea in 2014. Magic as a company was already in existence since 1989. So they've been around forever. It was, the founder wanted to retire, go back to mountains. And we knew the founder, one of my partners and the founder had gone to Doon School together. My chairman also is from Doon. So I think they had good relationship before. So we said, all right, your company seems to be in education and you want to get into education. So maybe this is a good way for us to play into this whole digital, journey of education. So we ended up, taking over the company, investing fully, and Vimalendra, of course, wanted to retire, so he achieved his goal. And our idea was to basically move this, business into, US, because our thing was that we'll make this company into a global company, and that was actually the need of this company as well. Which again, Vimalendra did not want to continue that journey because he didn't feel that he'll be able to move to US and set up the headquarters there. And I think the timing was really good because everybody was just about getting into that space. Mm-hmm. Everybody was getting hot about education in 2014, if you go back. Right. And we felt that the timing was perfect. A Magic Box was to be launched, and we launched the product in the same year. Yeah.
Wow, great. So it said that only way to bring change is lead by example, and the good or bad part of being a leader is that your team emulates you, and if you work hard, the team works hard. If you're kind to your customers, your team is kind to, and the downside is that if you struggle with something, so will they. Do you agree with this? And are you a hands-on CEO? And what kind of example would you like to set for, your team?
Yeah. So I think, first of all, by nature, I'm very hands-on. And in fact, I joke about this, but my other 4-5 business partners also are very hands-on. So my board members and all, if I ask them for any help, they'll literally jump into action. If they have to do any introductions or if they have to crunch any numbers, they'll get into the action. So I think we are very, by nature, as I said, we are very entrepreneur. We are very, we don't shy away from work. We are very, we are not hierarchical in our way of working as well.
Right.
So if a job has to get done and I have to talk to anybody in the organization, I'll just go out and just talk to that person and basically see to it that the work gets done, rather than wait for the hierarchy to kick in. So I think that's one thing that we do. And yes, I'm mindful of the fact that what I do in turn will influence people. So obviously we always try to be very fair in what we do, and even at the cost of having two more internal meetings to debate a point out, I will do that. At the cost of being a little uncomfortable, I'll also try to invite people in the room who I know will not probably agree with the point of view that I may have, but I think it sometimes helps to do that, as I call it, waste time, and boil some or burn some hearts and boil some blood, just because I feel that that's one way to get counterpoint of views and then come to a good decision. And even then you may still not get a good decision, because a good decision is ultimately reflected in the outcome. Absolutely. And the outcome can be influenced by many other factors, not just that fact you took a good decision.
Right.
So yeah, we try to do as much as possible, and I also try to remove myself for some of the decisions so that it doesn't become very biased decision. Because sometimes what happens is, if I'm involved and I'm trying to take a decision one way or the other, then everybody else might align, and that also may not be good. So I want to ensure that sometimes I pull myself out of a decision so that other people can take the decision a little more in a more fair manner, I would.
Right. So you just talked about the hierarchy. What organization structure or hierarchy do you have in Magic Software? And is this design intentional? Have you sort of created it, or you have let it emerge organically, or is it sort of a combination of both?
Yeah, we are still evolving. Let me put it this way. Currently, the bias of our company is that create an organization structure which is very close to the execution for the clients. So client-centric organization close to execution. So I think I mentioned this before. We have multiple business units within our company. Right. The whole idea of creating those business unit is, so if you think about it, no corporate structure or less corporate structure, more business units which are focused on the clients. Right. Accounts. So I think that's right now the structure. I think eventually the company will evolve to have a corporate structure. And I'm slowly hiring people in that space. So for example, you are corporate marketing now, which is probably one of my first. I have now one corporate strategy person in the organization. Slowly we are getting there, but we are still not there yet. So I think we are evolving. So one of the things about creating organizations is not to create too much bureaucracy, right? Try to keep the organization very nimble, very execution focused, and only when there is a need to build a corporate structure, you should build it, because there is a value in that also. Because bureaucracy is not always bad. It's good for certain checks and balances also. I think you again asked me earlier one question about you have to get involved in everything. No, I don't have to. If I have a very good team who can do that thing for me, and that's where the need for the corporate structure then comes about.